Alright. Let me help you guys understand why a lot of Americans, if not most, of the working class, if you work as with a company like I do, whether a small company like mine or a big company, corporation, you're gonna understand something. Whatever job you have, it doesn't matter how little or big, you're always gonna pay taxes. All right. Now, obviously, the more money you make, the more taxes you pay. And it's not until you start seeing, if you make like $100 a week, you really don't see it. It's really nothing. It's like, oh, whatever. It's not going to hurt you. But if you make a couple of hundreds of dollars a week, those taxes start to kick in high amounts. It's not pretty. And as I see, and many people like me, and many people think like me, are a little frustrated, to say the least, because they take so much in taxes. It's not even funny. So much. Like, I've seen media posts and people like talk about how they took out like $100 or something out their check. And it's a lot. But when you make a little bit more than whatever it is that, you know what I mean? Like, they taking out hundreds of dollars out of your check. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's a lot, yeah. But, that's nothing compared to what they take out of other people's checks. And just the middle class, average worker. And it's bad, all right? So now, you're paying this payroll tax, right? Income tax. And now that's just one tax. Now, when you learn about the tax system, you start learning that everything is taxed. If you live in areas where they have bridges, toll roads, turnpikes, that's another tax. Everything is taxed. Everything is taxed. Anytime there's a money transaction, there's some sort of tax. So now, there's taxes, fees, tolls, fines. All that to me is taxes. You get a ticket, a parking ticket, it's a tax. You get pulled over, you get a ticket, it's a tax. You go through a red light camera, speed camera, it's a tax. So, going back to the actual, income tax, that's probably one of the biggest you're gonna feel. Another one is sales tax. Everything you buy is taxed. You really, like, if you go to these I guess certain states, like, they might have clothing. I don't know if that still exists, and clothing might be tax free or whatever the case is. Like, you realize, like, after you buy a few hundreds of dollars of items, you pay a lot in taxes. And here's the funny thing, right? When you buy a house, you're paying taxes. There's like a transfer tax, there's so many fees and transactions and taxes that goes along. And then that same house that you buy, you want to sell it, that same house get taxed. You sell it to somebody else, that same house get taxed. It's like the government is making more money off the same house. Only because it's transactions, it's not a new item, it's the same house. It's being taxed on just because the person's selling it. Same thing when you buy a car. You buy a car, and you get taxed on it. You sell it to a dealership to trade in for a new car, whatever the case is, they get taxed on. When the dealership sells that same car used, it gets taxed on. It's just, people don't realize this because it's just like automatic. It's just like, oh yeah, it's the norm. But when you think about it, Everything's getting taxed. So now when we talk about property tax, oh my gosh, some states is evil. Evil. Like thousands of dollars on property tax. Like I've seen some places like 16, 17,000, 12,000 a year for property tax. Like, all right, let's say hypothetically speaking, you was inherited the property, right? And you still paying, if it's $12,000 a year, you still paying $1,000 a month. You're basically renting that property. So, look, I don't know. I really don't know. But everything's getting taxed, and it's crazy. It's crazy. So, you gotta understand, when people get passionate about illegals and being in here and undocumented immigrants, wanting them out and them not paying taxes, you can understand why. It's frustrating. There's so much taxes to pay, and it's not fair. Everybody got to pay their fair share of taxes. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like and share. Leave a comment. Take care.